Right, it's time for us to get fit. I'm heading in to meet golf fitness expert Rachael Tibbs from Dynamic Golf, and she's going to take me through some drills which will benefit my game and can benefit yours too. In this episode, we're going to be looking at how we can reduce that lower back pain that is so common among us golfers. So let's get on with it, shall we?
So I'm going to take you through some core exercises, and then we're going to start with a nice breathing exercise here that Hannah's going to demonstrate, okay? So you want to start off obviously on your back, okay? And we're just going to bring your knees up into a 90-degree position, okay? So you want to make sure that the back is nice and flat throughout, and then I'm just going to ask Hannah to just pop one hand across her chest and the other hand on her stomach, okay? And she's going to take some nice deep breaths. It takes a little bit of practice to begin with. So she's going to breathe in through her nose, okay? And then as she breathes in, she should feel that both her hands rise, okay? So you're trying to get as much air into your body as you possibly can, okay? And then as she breathes out, she's going to forcefully push it out through the mouth. And then she's going to feel this area contract, okay? So what we're trying to do is get the muscles of the core activated, okay, and just strengthen and stabilize the lower back and the spine, okay? So big deep breath in, good, see the hands rise, and then blow it out, and you should just feel that contract. You can even give yourself a little prod just to make sure the muscles are nicely engaged. And again, I would just practice this round about 10 to 15 breaths. Okay, the next exercise that we're going to look at to help improve lower back pain is what we call a pelvic tilt. So it's really important that we can control the pelvis so that we can set a nice stable posture. Also within the golf swing, it's really important that you can move the pelvis as it helps with the transition part of the golf swing, okay? So again, you're going to start on your back, and we're going to start with a nice flat back and knees just bent and rested on the floor. Okay, I'm going to ask Hannah to pop her hands on her pelvis, okay? And what she's going to do is she's going to try and create a little gap here between her lower back and the mat, and she's just going to tilt her pelvis down and feeling as if she's tucking her tailbone upwards, okay? So just tilt down for me, other way, Hannah. That's it. Okay, so she's created a little bit of a gap here. I can just slide my hand under. Then what she's going to do, the most important part, is now she's going to contract the abs and she's going to pull the back nice and flat. So she's creating lots of tension through here. Okay, so arch the back, good, create that arch, and then pull that down, good, and create that tension. And once you're in that position there, I would advise you to hold it for a couple of seconds, okay? And again, just try and work on as much movement as you can for around about 10 to 12 repetitions. Okay, so the next exercise that we're going to look at to help lower back pain is a hip exercise. So often we find that lower back pain comes when we're unable to move our hips properly, okay? And the hips are really important in terms of rotation in the golf swing. So what we're going to do is we're going to do some hip drops, okay? So Hannah's going to sit nice and tall, and she's just going to support herself through her hands, okay? Then she's just going to take her legs a little bit wider. That's it. So as wide as you can, but you want to keep your feet nice and flat, okay? And then what I'm going to ask her to do is she's just going to keep one leg as it is. So keep that one nice and stable, and she's just going to drop this knee as close into the floor as she can. Okay, don't worry if you don't get quite to the floor. You might be a little bit restricted in the hip. Hannah's doing pretty well here. Okay, once you get as low down as you can, just hold that for a couple of seconds. Okay, you should feel that in the hip area. Yeah, and then you're just going to come back up. Okay, and then just repeat that on that leg again. She's keeping this nice and stable as you can see, and just rotating that in as far as she can. Okay, what I would advise you do is kind of about 8 repetitions on each leg, and you will find that as you work through the repetitions, you start to get the knee a little bit lower if you're struggling to begin with. One thing you want to make sure that you do avoid is moving this out, okay? So if you are a little bit restricted, so if you just drop that down and just move that out, as you can see, she's just making it a little bit easier for her there. So keep this nice and stable. So the next exercise that we're going to look at is another hip exercise, okay? Okay, so we're going to get Hannah to get onto all fours, okay? Okay, so there you can see that she's got a nice neutral spine. As well, you can also see that her wrist is directly below her shoulder and her knee is directly below her hip, so she's a nice, stable position, okay? So then what we're going to try and do is get her to open up her hip as far as she can, creating as much rotation, nice and slow and steady. Okay, Hannah? So we're just going to work that right hip. Just bring that knee up towards your chest, and then we're just going to take the knee out, nice and wide, trying to create as big a circle as you can. The thing that you want to resist is kind of rocking onto the other side. So there's a little bit of movement there, okay, as she brings it back in, okay. As you rock, you just open up the pelvis. Just do that once more for me, Hannah. Okay, so she's bring that up, try and get that knee higher, 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 higher. So you're trying to get that knee as high off the floor as you can, trying to create as much rotation, okay? And that should hopefully free up the hip and allow for more rotation. Okay, so the last exercise that we're going to look at that's going to help with lower back pain is the assisted stork turn. So this is a really good exercise. It's going to help you engage the core and also find some separation and using the pelvis to rotate as opposed to the lower back. So again, this is really good for the golf swing in terms of trying to create separation, especially in the kind of transition phase of the swing. Okay, so Hannah's going to just stand on one leg, so the leg that's nearest to the band, okay, and she's just going to pop the other leg just behind the back knee, okay? She's going to push the band out just to create a bit of tension, and she can feel this now through the core, okay? And keeping nice and stable and her body facing forward, she's just going to rotate the pelvis into that standing leg, trying to get as much separation as she can. It's quite a challenging drill to do, so just be patient with it and just build it up steadily. Good. And just trying to get as much rotation as you can. Okay, thanks, Hannah. Okay, so what you will find is as you work through that, you should be able to start getting more rotation and feel more comfortable rotating into that hip. And again, you want to repeat that around about 8 to 10 times on each leg.
Right, nothing too complicated there. So no excuses for you to get started straight away. If you want more fitness content, head over to National Club Golfers YouTube channel and you can follow Rachel on social media here. Right, I'm off for a lie down.